Welcome back to another Brewing Up a Meal. Hi, Oberon. So I do have Oberon with me, but not Dana. He is actually still at work. I'm gonna start my prep right now before Dana gets home because it's late and I don't want him to have to really do much. So obviously he's gonna still be in the video, but not till later. What I'm making today is kind of a weird meal, I guess. I'm taking the idea of meatball stroganoff as well as Swedish meatballs and making Swedish venison meatball stroganoff. I don't know if it's a thing, but it's gonna be. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm actually just gonna prep the meat, make them into balls, and I'm going to slice the mushrooms and the parsley. So let's get started a little bit on that prep. I will wait to have a beer until Dana is with me, and I will probably start cooking when he calls me, when he's on his way home from work, but I'll be able to finish with him as well as we're gonna sit down and have dinner together at the same time. Enough talking. I haven't even had a beer and I'm chatty like this. Okay. So I have a bunch of stuff already on the counter, ready to go. And this is not based off any specific recipe. This is kind of my brainchild of a recipe. I oftentimes will do that because I'm very comfortable with making traditional stroganoff as well as traditional Swedish meatballs. So I'm kind of doing my own twist with this one today. It will be reminiscent of those two dishes without actually being true to the recipes for either. Let's just get that out of the way. Okay. So first thing is first, I'm going to take off my rings. And we'll kind of just have a good chat here. So today's the 20th. We're very close to the end of February already. Hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day. We posted a video last Wednesday that was kind of fun. It was National Park themed. So if you haven't seen that, please check that out. It was awesome. Let's get my hair up. And if you're thinking to yourself, Eileen, did you wear that puffy brown jacket to look like a meatball? No, but I am well aware that I look like a meatball. I know that I do because it is freezing in the house today, and this is a big fluffy jacket that shows no shape to my body, and I'm living for it, to be honest. So I have 1 pound of ground venison here. Obviously, this recipe would work just fine if you're using any other style of ground meat. It may change the fat content, oil content, and the cook time, but you could use ground turkey, ground beef, ground sausage. Doesn't really matter, but I'm using venison. Our venison, as I've mentioned before, is pretty moist because of the fact that we had pork fat mixed in. Normally what I would do is I would add an egg to the base of a meatball, but I'm going to be adding other wet ingredients that will replicate a similar texture, and the fact that an egg is used is actually used to kind of cling things and glue things together. It's a binder, if you will. So I'll be using other things to bind this today. First and foremost, what I know I need is some kind of breadcrumb. I recommend using panko because it adds a lot of nice crunch without all the sodium. And I didn't measure that at all. I would say that it's pretty close to maybe being a 1/4 cup, if I had to guess. Now here's a couple of things that you may think are a little bit odd to add to a meatball. I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon. I think lemon does really well. When you're doing a recipe like this where you're gonna be having a sauce of any kind, what you put in the meat goes in the sauce. So it may be odd to add lemon to a meatball, although I think it might actually be good in like ground chicken or ground turkey if you're going for like an Italian kind of vibe, but long and short, what I'm trying to say is the lemon flavor is going to be really good in my sauce base for the stroganoff slash Oberon Swedish sauce that I'll be making. So this lemon will actually cut the flavors and the creaminess down a little bit and will work really well. Another thing that I'm going to add is a tiny bit of original barbecue sauce. Just a tiny bit. You can see, yep, about that. So that's about a teaspoon. And instead of a baker's dozen, it's a baker's teaspoon. That's probably a little bit more. And then I'm going to use some spicy mustard. The contrast of flavors. The barbecue is going to be a good binder for me that the egg would do when the egg yolk is beat up. It's also going to add some smokiness, and it's going to allow me to add some seasoning without having to go heavy-handed on the spices. The lemon pairs really well with mustard, And spicy mustard is actually something I use in my base for stroganoff. A very small amount that's barely detectable and doesn't really stand out as a flavor if you try it, but it marries the other flavors really well. One of the things that marries really well is actually fresh parsley, which I have today here. Parsley has a pepperiness to it, and the ground mustard seed slash a little bit of spice it has in there is really good with fresh parsley. So now that I have that, I'm going to get some spices here. Keeping it simple with my spices today because a lot of them are just going to be muddied down in the sauce. So I have some Montreal steak seasoning. No shock there, I use it on everything. And I do go a little bit heavier handed on that because I do want to taste that flavor. I love it. Oberon, stop being so curious. He's smelling what I'm doing. He's smelling what I'm stepping in, and he wants to taste what I'm cooking. Not today, sir. Garlic, said it before, can't have too much garlic. I think you can, but I like Middle Eastern food, so I don't know that I've ever had too much garlic. And now I'm going to mush everything together. This is like the worst part to me. I hate this part. I don't like doing this with my hands. I don't like getting it underneath my nails. It's a gross feeling, but you know, someone's got to do it. And usually Dana does it for me, but he's not here and I want him to come home to an already cooked or very close to being done meal. That is my meatball base. I'm going to just make it into balls now, but well, I was going to wash my hands, but that seems kind of dumb. So I'm actually just going to make them now. Another thing that's really cool to add to this is like Parmesan cheese. I'm not going to add Parmesan cheese because I don't have any, but normally I would add some Parmesan cheese. And I'd say they're pretty close to like golf ball sized balls here. What's wrong? What's wrong? Sweetie, do you have to go outside, go potty? Okay, parsley can wait. Okay, so I have about, well, it's hard to tell you how much until I mince it down, but this is curly Italian parsley, which has a pepperiness to it as well as some sweetness naturally. So once I get it kind of down a little bit, it's a little bit bouncy because it's so curly, so it's hard to actually get it down. Usually I use scissors for this, but it is easier, just more time consuming to use a knife. Yeah, it looks like probably one very full tablespoon, but more like 2 tablespoons. And I don't want it like pulverized like a paste because I want that fresh herb texture to be in the dish. And if it's too minced down, then it's really not doing much better than just simply already dried, jarred spices. I mean, obviously the flavor is going to be far superior to a jar of parsley, but I want that texture. It is 8 o'clock. He leaves work around 8:30. So I'll probably start the noodles now and the rest when he gets home. So for the noodles, I'll be using wide egg noodles. Definitely a full bag of those. For the sauce, you'll need, if you're gonna make it like me, a bouillon cube, which you'll add to water. Some sour cream. I'm probably going to use this entire tub, and that's where the stroganoff inspiration comes in. Some golden mushroom, which is something that I would use in traditional meatballs. Then I have some almond milk and some butter. Oh, Brown, calm down. Oberon.
Honey, I'm home.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
I'm just filming.
Hi, guys.
Does it smell good?
just getting home. Dinner smells delicious. I need a beer and some food.
Well, perfect, because I haven't shown them the beers or done any of that stuff. So let's do that.
What's the beer?
We are having Dark Horse, the German Hobo Malt Liquor. This
Malt
guy right
liquor.
here. That's going to be Dana's beer. And then I'm having Axe Brewing Company's Red Smooth Malty Ale. So we're both malting it up, and I've never had anything from the Axe Brewing Company, and they are a Michigan brewery, so I'm pretty excited about that. So babe, if you can pour the beers for us, I need to throw the mushrooms into the pan.
Okay.
Okay, if you're wondering why I'm using a wok, it's because I like to add the noodles into the dish once I put everything back together, and a wok allows me to do that properly while blending the sauce into the egg noodle. The egg noodles are done, they're kind of just sitting here. Meatballs are back here, and then I'm starting the process of adding mushrooms, and then I'll make the sauce base next. So it has a cute little German guy looking at signs. What do the signs say?
Williamston, 6,731 kilometers. Marshall, 6,811 kilometers. Berlin,
That's cool.
100 kilometers. Shambhala, infinite.
Huh.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm sure that it means something important. It's from Marshall, Michigan. It is 9.5 ABV.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
It's a strong beer.
That's more than I thought it was.
And there's not really anything else listed on it. Really cool label though. I wonder if it's a collaboration between Old Nation and Marshall. Dark Horse, because there's Old Nation's symbol is there, along with, yep, it does say in collaboration with Old Nation.
Nice job, honey. I didn't look into that, so that's all
So, here we go.
good to know.
Really smells malty.
I would hope so. It's called malt liquor.
Well, it does smell malt. Don't eat my glasses, Ron. Strong, not very active in the mouthfeel, but malty, and sweet, and smooth.
Okay. You already tried it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I'm extracting some water from the noodles.
All right, yours is 5.2.
Well, let me try yours first. Did you like it or no?
I don't know. I'll have to have some more.
It's different, right?
Yeah. It doesn't taste bad. It's a little flat tasting almost. Like not a lot of fermentation.
Interesting. Yeah, not a lot of active carbonation. It's very sweet. It has a medium to full body, almost like as if it had honey or syrup in it. But it's pretty good. Like, I actually thought it was going to be more like a Tripel, and I thought we potentially would not like it. And I don't dislike it.
I don't dislike it.
It's unique. Yeah, it's unique for sure. I'll get into mine in a minute, but I'm trying to get my sauce base going, so I'm going to bring the camera over here, and you guys are going to come over to the oven with me. So right now I have the mushrooms, I have a cup of water, and then I have 2 tablespoons of the water from the pasta. It's always really important to incorporate some of the water from boiling the pasta into dishes for many, many reasons. I recommend doing it every time. It marries the flavors together, and some of the stuff that's boiled out of the pasta is something you want in the dish for texture reasons. So I've added in the parsley that you guys saw me mince earlier, and then about a tablespoon of butter into this, and then the bouillon cube, which is kind of making a broth, a mushroom-based broth. Once this boils down, I'm going to be adding the can of golden mushroom soup I showed you guys earlier. I'm going to be adding the sour cream, and then a little bit of milk, which I'm actually going to add right now. Okay, now with all the elements of the sauce are incorporated, I'm going to add the meatballs back into the mix so they can finish cooking and allow the sauce to thicken a little bit and get to a boil before I put a lid on this, if I feel I need to, and obviously add in the noodles. Add these back in there, and then I'm going to try my beer. The only thing I'm going to add a little bit to this, I'm actually going to add a little bit of paprika, because that's something I typically add to stroganoff. So let me grab some. Okay. There we go. Mine is 5.2% ABV. On the size it says, this isn't a hop bomb, nor is it designed for all of you crazy hop heads. This is beer. I'm not a hop head, you are. This is beer, a malt beverage designed for consumption. This beer is easy as a Sunday morning. A blend of 6 malts create a smooth, silky mouthfeel, born from hard-working Irish laborers that simply wanted a relaxing beer to soothe the soul after a hard day's work. This beer is not designed to be swirled in a fancy glass. Oops. And cataloged in your beer journal. Oops again. This is our video journal. It's beer for the soul, for friends, for family, and for drinking. Enjoy our hard work to celebrate your hard work. And this is out of Royal Oak, Michigan. Smells very sweet. It definitely smells more of an ale than anything else. I believe this is meant to be kind of like an amber ale, but a malty amber ale. That's a good beer. It's a good blend of some bitterness to the backbone. The forward taste on your palate is like a honey, nectary, sweet, refreshing, refined, clean flavor. I know, a lot of words, but that's what I'm getting. And then the end is kind of like that dry, malty bitterness. But it's a good balance. It's a pretty solid beer. I actually really like it, and this is not a style that I tend to like. It's not like out of this world, but for what it's trying to accomplish, I think it's doing a pretty good job.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead and try that.
The way that it was written doesn't really build it up at all, so.
Definitely getting up to a boil on that sauce mixture.
It's a good beer. It is a good beer.
Solid, right?
Actually, the mouth feels better than my beer. They said the bitter backbone, I think you said, is
It's a good balance, though.
It's a good beer.
This smells incredible. I'm going to add the noodles in now because we're at a boil. Okay, perfect. And this is exactly why I used a wok, guys. If this was a normal pan, it wouldn't have the depth and I wouldn't have the ability to kind of roll the flavors and the sauce around the way I am. Seems weird to use a wok for something like this to some people, I'm sure, but this is what I thought made the most sense, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome. So that's nice.
So would you say waka waka waka? Waka waka waka?
What do you have to say to me?
Waka waka waka.
What does that mean?
It's from the Muppets. Waka waka waka. Eileen's getting a bowl for me. She wants me to be the first one to try this, and also she started the video without me, so she wants me to end the video. Or I get to end the video.
Well, I'm going to be in it, honey.
She's going to pop in and out.
No, I'm
But
going to say bye to them. I just want
I get first taste.
Yes.
First dibs.
Yes, you do.
And, yeah, that's it.
Okay. There is your bowl.
Oh, it looks delicious. It smells amazing. And it's extremely hot. Sauce is amazing.
Okay. Like, how would you describe it?
Creamy and
Light at the same time, though?
light at the same time.
Okay. And, like, is it
And
earthy and
also
savory and...
Savory.
Okay.
And, yeah, earthy's a good word for it.
Yeah, because I put, like, fresh mushrooms that I, like, sliced up myself. And then there's fresh Italian curly parsley.
My God, that meatball's good.
Is it good?
Yeah.
I used some unique ingredients in the meatball.
Yeah, that's delicious.
Can you guess any of the ingredients I may have used?
Venison.
Obviously, honey.
No, I can't.
Spicy mustard.
That's delicious.
Barbecue sauce. Lemon. Those are the things that I added.
Well, it's good.
Okay, good.
I can't wait to have more.
Okay. Alright, well thank you for joining us for another episode of Brewing Up a Meal. Make sure that you eat good food, drink good beer, and cheers.
Cheers.
I'm gonna get food now, I'm hungry.
I bet you are.